Now joined by the Automobile Association of South Africa spokesperson, Layton Beard. Layton, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. We've just heard of these shocking numbers, 142% spike in the number of road crashes since the start of the festive season, and we're only at the midpoint of the holidays. What's your take?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Look, I think we are absolutely devastated by these numbers. I think we continue to believe that crashes on our roads and fatalities, annual fatalities, is a national crisis in South Africa. And certainly more attention needs to be paid to it, not only over the festive season period, such as we're seeing now, but throughout the year. The Minister talks about a 365-day operation. Well, unfortunately, we see an intensification of road traffic enforcement over these periods. And that's something we think needs to happen throughout the year. In fact, the review committee that looked at transport law enforcement in South Africa 3 years ago found that we need double the amount of traffic law enforcers in South Africa than what we currently have. And I think that just intensifies for us the need for that to happen, along with many other things. This narrative of human error is most to blame, I think, is a myth. It speaks to the fact that we need better roads. We need better infrastructure on the roads. We need lights that work on major intersections. We need better road development. We need safer drivers, so there's a need for better education, not only of existing drivers, but of drivers that are coming through, younger drivers. We need better testing of drivers. We need safer vehicles. So there's a whole range of things that we think need to happen. And unless they happen, we're going to have these same results year on year, and it's something we've been saying year on year for many years. A 3% decline mid-month, in our opinion, is absolutely shocking. It should be a lot higher than that, the decline. And I fear that when we get the final figures come January, they're going to look horrific, as always. And we're just going to hear platitudes about, things need to change, but things never really do change.
You speak about safer vehicles, and we know that minibus taxis have always been under the spotlight when it comes to long-distance traveling and the impacts that they have on the roads, as well as, some of the rules that are meant to be followed. And my colleague Linda Mnisi a short while ago spoke about some of the trends that they're seeing, unroadworthiness, people driving around at night hoping to avoid traffic officers during the day because of the condition of their vehicles.
Well, firstly, minibus taxis do not account for the highest number of vehicles in crashes. That is sedans and motor vehicles. So I think that's important. Again, if you're going to be avoiding traffic officers by driving at night, it just, again, highlights for us the need to have more traffic officers. You need to have them spread out across the country. When you look at the current situation, there certainly aren't enough to cover every single road in the country. But again, we've got a government report on the table that was commissioned by government, which says we need double the amount of traffic law enforcers on our roads throughout the year. Why is that not happening? And when we look at, for instance, the Road Traffic Management Corporation, whose core function is to promote road safety in South Africa and who manages many traffic law enforcers in the country, they had a surplus of 262 million in their budget in 2020. You have to question, why are they not using that money to appoint more traffic officers? So there's a lot that needs to happen in terms of road safety in South Africa. And again, I'll reiterate, I mean, I've been doing this for a very long time. Year on year on year on year. We've got the same figures that are coming through. We've either got very low declines, like 3.1% mid-month, or we've got increases. And that's something that we are not happy about. And we can't, as a society, accept that. Crashes cost our economy 190 billion rand a year. If we reduce those crashes, we can reduce a number of reliances, for instance, on the Road Accident Fund, and that will have a knock-on effect on the money that we pay for petrol, because we're paying for every litre of petrol we're paying towards the Road Accident Fund. So crashes is a huge issue, and it needs to be dealt with. And unless we take this a lot more seriously than what we are at the moment, we're not going to see any reductions, and nothing is going to improve.
You speak about petrol, and we know that the latest fuel increase has also had a major impact on those going to their various holiday destinations, having to fork out a lot more than previously. What's your take on the way ahead when it comes to the price of petrol and, how it's graded, especially as we head into the new year?
Look, I think we made it known, in November already that we felt that even though we were going to see these very heavy increases to the fuel price, people would still make a plan to go on holiday. And I think that that's been borne out. I think we're still seeing very many people who are budgeting to go on holiday and who are accommodating for these increases, and they certainly are going, to their holiday destinations. We want a review of the fuel price because we think there's many components in that and processes that are linked to that need to be audited with a view to seeing how we can mitigate against the fuel price. Now, we've said this before, and I'll reiterate it here again. When you reduce the number of fatal crashes and crashes in general on your roads, you reduce the reliance on the Road Accident Fund. Currently, the Road Accident Fund contributes R2.18 to every litre of fuel that you buy. So if we reduce the reliance on the RAF, we could perhaps look at reducing that amount that we pay towards the RAF on every litre of fuel. That's one step we think needs to be taken. But it's not one single silver bullet approach. You've got to look at these things in total. And again, road safety is such a critical component of our economy in terms of how much we spend and how much is wasted through road crashes that a lot more attention needs to be given to it. And, this narrative that it's human error that causes all of these crashes, we don't believe that. There's a lot of things that need to go into that. We need to look at making our roads safer. When I say making our roads safer, the actual road surfaces and the way those roads are designed and where the signboards are and whether there's proper lighting and where the potholes are fixed and are there pedestrian crosses where there should be and all of this type of thing. So there's a lot that needs to go into this. And, like I say, and I'll say it again, if we don't look at these things with a lot of seriousness, these numbers are not going to improve at all.
With crashes costing the economy, very lastly, Layton, before we let you go, what are some of the road safety tips that you would give out, as well as ensuring that your car is indeed compliant to take this long-distance journey?
Well, look, the first thing is you've got to make sure your car is in a good condition, the bodywork, the engine. You've got to make sure that that's good enough to get you to where you're going and to bring you back again. And then critically, you've got to look at those tyres. If your tyres are balding or they're worn, you can't repair that. You need to replace it. And you can't take your own life, lightly and go on a trip with tyres that aren't in the right condition. Not only that, but you're putting your passengers' lives at risk and obviously all other road users as well. So it's critical that you do a check on your tyres and ensure that they are good enough to get you to your destination and bring you back again. And then I think the last tip that I would give is get your attitude right. If you're not in the right frame of mind to be on a long journey, then you shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car. And the right frame of mind means I'm going to obey the rules of the road. I'm going to drive to the conditions of the road. I'm not going to be distracted by electronic equipment or by other passengers on the vehicle. I'm going to focus on the road ahead. And I'm going to make my journey a safe journey for myself, for my passengers, and for everybody else that I'm sharing the road.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. The Automobile Association of South Africa spokesperson Layton Beard giving out some advice there as we take a look, of course, taking stock of some of the latest statistics when it comes to road fatalities at the midpoint of the holiday season.